Hello and welcome. All right, today we are going to talk about money. Uh, how do you get it for a business? It's a different process for each. So we're going to talk a little bit in generalities today, but then in future episodes we're going to talk about specifics on how to go and get the capital you need for your business. If you're new here, my name is Taylor Darcy with Think Legal. I help entrepreneurs and startups create the business of their dreams. So welcome. I look forward to getting to know you and helping you build and create the business. Part of what I believe is that if you do things with intention, then intentional things happen. As opposed to, there's a lot of entrepreneurs that I know that do and hope for the best, but they never really plan. And that ends up hurting them in the long run. So today we're going to talk about capital and what it means to you as a business owner and how you can get more of it. But more importantly, how you can make the decisions that will help you get more of it. Because realistically, the process to get it, although it can be challenging, it doesn't have to be. And part of that comes, and this is why I bring this up, is because building your business intentionally and creating it as opposed to just letting it fall in your lap or letting it fall whatever, you're going to have a lot stronger results over time if you're building it with intention. You're going to get from point A to point B a lot quicker that way. So before we get into how to get capital, let's talk about what the different types of capital there are. And there are two main types. One is debt and one is equity. Debt is fairly common. Most people know it as a loan or some sort of something that you owe to another person back. And equity is ownership in the company. You typically have control over what happens with the money that you say that you're investing in the company. The reason why there's a difference and an important distinction between debt and equity is that if for some reason that you need to liquidate or file bankruptcy, debt is first in line to get paid back. Secured debt being real property or other types of secured debt on types of like lease equipment, stuff like that. Those are all going to get their money before equity holders. And then depending on how your corporation is set up, it might go debt, then preferred stock, then common stock. It just depends on how it's set up. You can also have it where it's common stock, then preferred stock. Common stock having voting rights, preferred stock having no voting rights, but first dibs if that happens. Again, we'll talk more about those in future episodes, but I wanted to give you a brief overview of what the difference between them are and how they affect your business. A debt holder has no say in how you operate the business, okay? Generally speaking. That there are some exceptions to that, but again, those will be things we talk about later. So when you're thinking about getting investors, the number one question that you should be asking yourself is WIIFT. What is in it for them? Okay. Why should they invest with you? Not because you have a good product, because investors, their goal is not about good product. That's like a subset of what their goal is. Their goal is to make a profit. Their goal is to make money on the money that they give you, one way or the other. And so if you have a clear goal of what's in it for them, if you're drafting things and writing things with the intent of bringing them in order to get them paid back, right? Getting them exiting the business if that's one of their goals, or just having a consistent return on their investment. What are their expectations? Can they expect a 6%, a 10%? I don't know. I'm just pulling numbers out. But the goal is that you want to make sure that your focus when it's an investor is what's in it for them, not what they can do for you. Now, so that's your first step. Your next step is you need to have a business plan. And it's got to be detailed. Like it needs to go through all of the various steps of a business plan and make it clear how how you are going to achieve the goals that you're going to achieve, and get the investment back to them if that's their goal or whatnot. So you want to have 3 versions, because people are busy, and especially investors. People that are looking to invest in companies are very busy. So you want to get their taste buds wet with a single page business plan that just highlights just something to pique their interest, right? Something to give them a reason to pay attention to your next one. And then you want to have a 2-pager that goes a little bit more in detail, but does not bombard them with every detail that they need to know at that point. So that they can, between the 1 and the 2, they can get a really good sense of this is somebody a good investment for them. The next thing that you're going to want to have is a full business plan. And this has got to be detailed with research, statistics, models, projections. Keep in mind your projections are just that, projections. That doesn't mean that you're absolutely positively going to do that, but they've got to be flexible. You need to make sure that your projections you're not going to be anticipating every possible scenario, but you've got to be fairly clear in your projections and how you're going to get there, not just kind of hope and a dream on that one. That's the number 3 thing. You want to have a good business plan, and you're going to want to have people review it, people that have done business plans before, and people that are potential investors but not looking to invest in your company. Okay, people that know you, that like you, that trust you already, that can look at it with a critical eye and say, yes, this makes sense, or no, you need to do something different for your business plan, or you need this section better. Okay. You're going to want to have cash flow analysis. You're going to want to hire somebody that has financial experience, somebody that can look at your numbers and make sense of them from a dollars and cents perspective, because that's what your investors are going to care about. Your financials have got to be in line, okay? Which brings me to kind of the next point. Your projections have got to be based on fact, not fiction. Anybody who's ever seen the show Shark Tank, they go on there and they have no sales. All they've done is spend money, and they go on there and expecting the sharks to invest in their business. And it's never going to happen because they haven't shown a profit, or they haven't shown enough revenue, shown enough interest in the product to make it worthwhile for the shark to invest. Sometimes if the product is really good, the sharks will invest, but it's very, very rare. It's very rare that they will, because they want somebody that knows what they're doing, that wants to invest. And when you go to an investor, you have to consider that it's not just about the part of it is about the money. That's the major part. The investor wants their money back. But they want to make a profit on their money, not just their money back. But the next part of it is that, are you tapping into the network, for instance, like with Shark Tank, of those different parties, right? Because that's really where they can help you scale your business. And after all, that's the purpose of getting investment. If you have no desire and no need to scale your business, then don't get investors. It just doesn't make sense. Especially equity investors, because you're giving up a portion of control of the company for somebody that wants a profit. And if you're not anticipating growing in order to return that profit to them, if you're happy doing $100,000, $200,000 a year, then keep doing that. Keep investing your own money into it and keep the ownership. I work with startups a lot, and a lot of them want an investment too quickly. They haven't shown their worth, number one. And number two, they're giving away something for a value to somebody that may or may not be around. Okay. You want to hold on to your equity. Debt is not a bad thing. I would recommend trying to avoid it if you can, But if you need it to grow, if you need a credit line in order to pay certain expenses, then by all means do that. It's okay to do that. But at the end of the day, you want to make sure that you're maintaining a good cash flow through your own efforts. So maybe you don't even need an investor. Sometimes you just need one, and because it's takes extra money to grow, you need to do more work in order to do that. So the next fact that you want to do is don't wait till you need the money. Don't wait till you need it tomorrow, because you're inevitably going to get into the wrong situation. You're going to take money that you shouldn't from the wrong investor. So start planning early. Start with your 5-year plan, and that'll be part of your business plan. That'll be part of what you're going to do, is sit down and look at those numbers, look at the projections, look at where you are, look at where you want to go, and start planning today. What's your 5-year plan? Where are you headed? How are you going to get there? And then if you need investors, then you proceed with looking for investors, because then you're going to have a plan and you're going to be able to get there. So don't wait till the last minute. You're going to end up regretting it in the long run. So much can be protected and helped if you're planning according to what you've already set in motion, as opposed to letting things just happen to you. And it's easier to pivot. The next point is, how much do you really need? You want to make sure you have a clear amount in mind, not just a perfect amount, right? Because here's the thing, you don't want to give up too much equity because you're losing control, and you don't want to ask for too little, because if you have to go back and get some more, it's going to be more difficult. You're gonna really regret that, because people are going to charge you a high rate, because now all of a sudden their interest isn't as protected as the next person. If you look at it from a line perspective, first in line, second in line, third in line, fourth in line. If you're talking fourth in line for the money, then you're going to risk people not wanting to take it, because now all of a sudden they're not going to be guaranteed, or their investment isn't as sound as the next person. One of the questions I get also is people worry a lot about whether somebody's going to steal their idea. If you're truly worried about it, an NDA, as an attorney, I highly recommend. If it's one of those ideas that just is 1 in a million, then by all means have people sign NDAs. Some investors will sign them and some won't. And you'll kind of know who you want to work with if they say no to it. But keep this in mind, and this is something important to remember. Most investors aren't going to steal your idea. They don't have the time, they don't have the resources, and it's not their idea. So implementing that idea is going to be insanely difficult for them. They don't want to. They don't want to spend that extra effort to develop something when they know that it's already your idea. So don't worry about them taking your idea. And if you do, have them sign an NDA. If you're really that concerned, having it in writing is always better than not. Having it clear that someone owes or can't use your idea is always a better suggestion in that category. That sums up most of everything. Again, this is how to get capital. Make sure you have a plan. Make sure that you're focusing on what's in it for them, not what's in it for you, because they know you need the money for something. And I mean, sure, you need to have a good solid base and foundation for it, but keep in mind that that's not what the investor cares about. The investor cares how they're going to get their money back. So focus on that, and the other things kind of fall into place. There's so many elements to getting capital. And if, please leave comments or leave questions in the comments. I'd love to help you if you need to. And don't forget to subscribe and like this channel. And we'll see you on Monday.